Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. This video will walk you through how to connect the supply cylinder into the cryogenic autofill tank. When you unpack our autofill tank, you're going to find out a few accessories. First one is the documentation package, which is operation manual, a plumbing assembly piece, and also a remote on contact. We'll get to that later. Okay, so this is the gas supply cylinder. Usually you can contact your local gas distributor to obtain one of this tank cylinder. And then this cylinder has a few devices. This is the level indicator to show you how full this liquid nitrogen is remain inside the cylinder. And you're going to see the two valves. Now you may notice on the valve, one will show the vent, the other show a liquid. Since we are going to dispense the liquid nitrogen, we will be using the liquid valve. Don't worry about the vent valve for our application. There are two other important devices. The first one is the pressure relief valve. In the hallway, you might also hear the hissing sound from the supply cylinder. Well, that is the pressure relief valve doing its job to relieve the excessive pressure. Another device is a pressure gauge that will tell you what is the pressure inside the tank. Remember, the pressure is very important in our application. Not only it may cause the tank to malfunction, but also it might endanger your safety. The pressure in our application is 22 psi or below. In this application, you can see the pressure is over 30 psi. We would recommend you to contact your local gas distributor and then switch out the tank for you. They should be doing that for no charge. One of the common questions customer has for us is that whether our tank is set up as the liquid phase or the vapor phase. Horizon Cryogenic Autofill Tank is pre-set up as the vapor phase. The liquid nitrogen will be about 3 inch to 6 inch from the bottom of the tank. This is the tank storing area. It is round because it is a vacuumed installation, therefore it has to be a round shape. In here, this is where the liquid nitrogen comes in, filling tube. Here is what we call the sensor guard tube. And then also here is the sensor. As you can see, there are two types of sensor. This dark brown one is a temperature sensor we call the thermocouple. Both sensor right here, the color coded one, they are the liquid nitrogen level sensor. We also call the thermistor. Okay, so now you may have a question about, well, what is the difference between the liquid phase storage and the vapor phase storage? And there you have it. The liquid phase storage means that you are going to store majority of your biological sample inside the liquid nitrogen. That also means the tank is pretty full of liquid nitrogen. Now, the strength, the pro is that there is no temperature gradient issue. Because the liquid nitrogen temperature is absolute -196 degrees Celsius. So, if you store any biological sample inside the liquid nitrogen, that means the temperature will be absolute -196. Sounds pretty good. On the other hand, there are also a couple issues. First one is cross-contamination issue. Think about this way. If your biological sample is a biohazard material and is stored inside the vial, and the vial is inside the liquid nitrogen, if the vial did not close properly, then whatever you store inside will pretty much cross-contaminate other sample inside the liquid nitrogen tanks. The other issue is the safety concern. Because we all know that the liquid nitrogen, when it evaporate, the ratio, the size ratio is from 1 to 700. That means it will expand 700 times. So if you have any vial that's not threaded carefully, and the liquid nitrogen leaks into the vial, when it takes into the room temperature and then start to warms up, and that vial may explode. So whatever the biological material inside may spread into the room. On the other hand, some people use the vapor phase storage. Okay, now let's talk about the vapor phase storage. The vapor phase storage is exactly the opposite as the liquid phase. The vapor phase storage, the con become pro. There is no cross-contamination issue and there's no safety concern because there's no liquid nitrogen floating around the tank in the majority of the tank. Therefore, there's no such a concern. On the other hand, that the temperature gradient may come into play. The reason is because that in the vapor phase storage, the closer you get to the liquid nitrogen, the colder it gets. The further away may be a little bit warmer than the liquid nitrogen negative 196 degrees Celsius temperature. Okay, now we are ready to start filling the liquid nitrogen tanks. You're going to need one of these transfer hose. And also the supply cylinder, find the liquid valve. Now I would recommend you to hand tight the transfer hose onto the supply cylinder as first as you could to avoid cross-threading issue. Once you hand tight to the last and then use the crossing wrench to tighten it up. Okay, now we'll connect the transfer hose into the supply cylinder. Now it's time to connect the transfer hose into our biogenic tanks. As you can see, this tank is brand new, so there are many things still hasn't been prepped yet. For example, during the shipping, we put the red cap in here to protect any dust from going in. That piece gotta go. So use a plier to take out this piece. And then discard this piece. Don't need to keep that. Now, we just talked about we have this brass assembly. Take out the blue end. Also, take out the red end. Connect this piece, this end right here, into the inlet.
Action.
To connect the transfer hose into the brass assembly, you need a male adapter. Connect the male adapter into the brass assembly. And then connect the transfer hose into the male adapter. Now, the last step is to cut the power cord wire tie open. This tank is ready to use. Okay, now we are just a few seconds away from the liquid nitrogen to flow into our tank. Last step, plug the power in. As you can hear that our controller will start giving an alarm. Well, of course, because this tank has the high temperature, alarm and also the low liquid nitrogen level alarm. So therefore, the tanks let you know that this tank is having a both problem, of course. Now, before we start filling the liquid nitrogen into the tank, we got to notice we got to be safe. So therefore, I'm going to wear the cryogenic gloves. You can purchase that from our company as well. And also a face shield. The next step to do is to turn on the supply cylinder. All the way up. Okay, now our tank just stopped the filling cycle. You may notice that the supply cylinder and then also the transfer hose is filled with the frost. And you might even see some vapor coming out. That's absolutely normal. On the other hand, there is one critical information for you to know. Because now our tank just stopped the filling, so the valve is shut down in our tank. At this moment, please do not turn off the supply cylinder. The cold hose usually indicates there are some liquid nitrogen inside. If you turn off the supply cylinder valve, you would trap the liquid nitrogen inside the transfer hose. When it warms up, the size expands to 700 times. It will blow the pressure relief valve open and then cause a malfunction on our cryogenic tanks. So the rule of thumb, when you see the hose is cold, do not turn off the supply cylinder valve. Wait for an hour or so until the temperature warms up, then you can turn it off, disconnect the hose, and then change to a different supply cylinder if you need to be. During the filling, you can actually keep the lid completely closed. Because this lid, there's a gasket in the back that is empty that will relieve the excessive pressure. So it's completely normal to keep the lid closed during the filling. Now we are ready to put the racks into the tank. Simply just put the racks into the tank.
Go.
Don't shoot me, okay? Now, when you take the racks out, remember, let the liquid nitrogen drain out a little bit before you completely take it into the room. As we previously demonstrated, Horizon cryogenic tanks liquid nitrogen level is preset at 3 and 6 inch. That means liquid nitrogen will start fill at 3 inch and then stop fill at 6 inch. However, you can also adjust the liquid nitrogen level if you would like to be like half full of liquid nitrogen or completely full with liquid nitrogen. To do so is very simple. First, disconnect the power. Secondly, remove this orange plug. And then as you can see that there are 3 sensors as we discussed. One is the temperature sensor, which is the dark brown thermocouple. The other 2, they are bundled together by electrical tape, which is the level sensor, thermistor. So, for example, if you want your start fill to be at 13 inch and the factory setting is at 3 inch, that means just make a mark and then pull 10 inch up. And then push the excessive wire into the controller. After you're done, put in the orange plug back in place so the sensor can be secure and not moving in the future. And that's how you adjust our autofill liquid nitrogen level. Okay, in this part of the video, we are going to demonstrate another device called a measuring ruler. Some people call it yardstick. So simply put the measuring ruler into the liquid nitrogen for about 5 seconds, and then take it out and wave in the air. Whatever the parts submerged into the liquid nitrogen will show the white fog on the ruler. That's how you tell the liquid nitrogen level inside the tank. So there you have it. That's all to it to connect the supply cylinder to our cryogenic tanks. Should you have any concern or any question, feel free to contact our technical service at this number right here, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you for watching this video.